Are we clear now? Okay, now I can start. Hi, everybody. My name is Grace, and welcome to my third episode of Done with Grace. Are you want to be in the shot or not? Okay, she wants to. Today, I wanted to talk about this phrase, 病は気から. Last couple of days, I just had this episode of binge eating and drinking. I do that when I have this outburst of anger or sadness. I cope with it with food and drinks. Like, for example, within 24 hours this time, I consumed a six pack of IPA beer, a bottle of rosé wine, a big large size of stuffed crust pizza, probably like this size, cut by 8, right? With Italian sausage and a free breadstick that came with it with marinara sauce. And I had probably 2 servings of like chow mein thingy that I made. I had it in the fridge, so I couldn't help. So I had those. The reason I had that 24 hours is that, okay, so I can't talk about it too much because it's a lawsuit pending, but it was about this car accident I was involved. It's not my fault. Not my fault at all. It's the other party. But they are refusing to take responsibility. So I haven't been able to use my car the last 6 months. It's crazy, right? So yeah, and they are refusing to even to come to the court. And I was like, I had it. They live around the corner. I can see their house and their car, and they're riding their own car while I am forced to walk to everywhere, take public transportation, and it just, it just drove me to the edge. Of course, the next day I was sick, and I thought about this phrase, 病は気から, because that means the disease or sickness comes from ki. Ki is, there are a lot of translation, but it's usually about like feelings or the state of mind, ki. The kanji itself, it can mean like air or atmosphere, sometimes the energy, the ki, energy, healing stuff. So that's this kanji. And usually it's used like, those people like, it's like a cold flu season, then they're like overprotective because, I think I'm gonna get cold, I'm gonna get sick. And usually those are the ones who get sick, not the people who are like, yeah, I don't care, let's just live our lives. So it can be used for those examples. I don't know, maybe you wish for something. If you keep thinking about it, it would happen to you, I guess. Law of attraction in a way. But so 病は気から means that, or maybe sometimes we use it in an example of like mine. If I allow the stress affect me so much so often, like look at me, I end up consuming that much alcohol within 24 hours. Of course, that's going to affect my heart, right? If I keep doing that, I will destroy myself. So the stress, the anger that I had would eventually affect me physically. So, 病は気から. I'm not saying that all the disease is stemmed from your mental, but a lot of times, what you were thinking or feeling can trigger the next thing. Could be a physical symptoms, or it might affect your like whole being. So you gotta be careful with what you feel. I mean, pay attention to how you feel. Then I think we cannot dismiss it as just a feeling. It's going to pass by. It's connected to your overall health. And that kind of brought me to this thought as well, because last week or so there were 3 major mass shooting incidents in California. One of them was pretty close to here. Monterey Park is like, what, 10-minute, 15-minute drive. So, and of course, some of the shooters were just born psycho. 1 or 2 of them, they're like over 60 or 70, yeah? And it just made me wonder, like, what drove them to do that after 70 years of living on Earth, So, of course, don't get me wrong, I don't mean to make any excuse for their criminal, heinous crimes that they did. Just killing another human being is like the worst thing. So I'm not saying I'm trying to make any excuse or reasoning. There shouldn't be any reason, no matter what they're going through, don't do it. So having said that, when that thing happened, of course we talk about the guns, which will be another episode, but gun controls. Then we talk about the mental state of the shooter, the criminals, right? I often feel like, why don't we talk about this third element, which is what is driving those people to the edge, or what in this society are changing so much that we're producing so many killers out there with guns. Now, it shouldn't be just that people are changing on their own and we're easily turning to monsters. I feel like there are some elements in the society that's in our surroundings that are driving some of us going so crazy to commit those mass shootings or other like murders and crazy stuff. And of course, for example, they used to say like the addiction to video games can drive those people. Maybe that's one. I mean, there shouldn't be just one. I'm sure there are so many reasons. And one of them, because of what I'm going through right now about the accident, I was hit by an uninsured, unlicensed driver who is not even refusing, who is trying to hide from me. They live around the corner. Like, where are they going to hide? So they are refusing to pay for my car damage. So I haven't been able to drive in the last 6 months. And living without a car in LA sucks. And just, I walked everywhere. I take public transportation. I ask my friends to give me a ride and share rides. I mean, I do that here and there, but they're expensive too. So I've been doing that last 6 months, and it's very inconvenient. And sometimes it just drives me crazy. I was like, The only thing that's stopping me is that I'm not gonna go down as those people's level. So I'm just gonna keep it composed. I'm not gonna do anything stupid. But the same week, there was this house around the corner. They were having this like big family party with DJs or live band. I don't know. By the way, their music sucked. It was so bad. I mean, not that, I would tolerate the sound in the middle of the night, like after 11 p.m. If it's a good music, no, I wouldn't do that. But it might help a little bit. But so these people, they started the party like in the evening, and they kept going on and on. 8 p.m., no slowing down. 9, 10, they're like, going crazy. The 11 o'clock hits. I'm like, seriously, like this has to stop. So I went over there and said, listen, like, can you just finish the party? At least turn off the music? People are trying to sleep. And it was Friday or Saturday night. And you know what they said? It's weekend. People don't sleep on weekends? Hello? But this guy was like, it's weekend. We can do whatever we want. And I'm like, I'm gonna call the cops right now. I'm sure somebody did it already, but I'm gonna call the cops. Then they're like, let the police come. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I was looking at the guy and I was like, are you serious? You know, like, have you ever heard of the word decency? So that happened the same week. And I seriously lost trust in humanity for a day or two. I couldn't believe that people were so rude, so, so, I don't know. I don't know the right word to describe it. Selfish, self-centered, of course. And it's just all about them. And then they don't care what their actions are doing to others. Thank God I grew up in Japan, like where people say sorry to each other for nothing. I remember when I was when I'm in Japan, like if somebody steps on my toe, like we say sorry to each other or bump into each other, it's not like it's not your fault, but it's not they didn't do it intentionally, but we just say sorry to each other for like sorry this happened, inconvenience for maybe for like split seconds, a little bit tiny pain in your toe, but like hey, oh sorry, just I didn't mean to. We say that to each other, right? So that's how I was brought up. We do whatever we care what even the strangers, we care about other people. And sometimes shit happens, but at least we try, right? And that's how I was raised. And I'm sure it's not just Japan. Like maybe my neighbor is like, oh, up. I don't know. But I think especially where I live in the US, it's becoming so much that you have to protect yourself, and then you just push your needs, your uh, your profit over everybody else's, and it almost feels like you kind of want to. They're trying to. I say they because I don't identify with them at all. So those people, there are people, they don't go as far as breaking the laws, but they just push their way, stomping on other people to get what you want. And I feel like this country, they are okay with it. You know? I mean, when you look at politicians and those business people, they step on everybody's, and they claim themselves that they're the winners, but they're actually not. They're like disgusting. But I feel like the society is kind of admiring that right now. I'm not gonna say whose fault it is, but I feel like that's the trend. And it just, for me, it's embarrassing. For me, it's embarrassing. You can do good stuff, great stuff, without pushing people down, right? And I feel like we're forgetting that. And again, I'm not saying that I would feel for those criminals, but I think at one point we have to start thinking about we need to change our surroundings as well. What's producing those mindsets? And oh, one last example. I know someone who's suffering from depression, and this person, she's going to therapist and taking medications. But when I hear her issues, it's not that it's only coming from this chemical imbalance in her brain. She had some reasons to feel sad or maybe a little angry to the society and to the certain family members. And she had a legit reason to feel depressed, you know? And maybe it went on too long. Maybe that's why it became a chronicle, and she doesn't feel like even going outside. She wants to just sit in bed all the time. But it started with a real problem, and I don't like to put it on everything as mental health or mental issue. There are things in your life that you kind of have to deal with it. Like my eating problem, I cannot just say it's my mental issue. Like there are reasons that made it, and I have to learn how to eliminate it or deal with it, right? I know we like to take responsibilities off of our hands. You might not be the cause, but how to deal with it, how you react to it, to deal with it, it's sort of your responsibility, because in the sense that no one else can do that for you, because life is just too short, and changing something else or someone else might take ages and centuries. And by the time it happened, you might be like, 150 years old. You never know. I think you can prioritize your health while you can respect other people's health, because they're not yours to use as a ladder to your goal. So I hope you have a healthy, peaceful day, week, month, years to come, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for listening. Bye.